So now, if I don't call you before I leave work and get in my car and come home, when I open that door, honey, I'm home, it's time to make it happen.
Wow.
And see, that's what happens. We want to call on our way home, in the car. And here's one thing that I dislike about calling on your way home from work. If something comes out that you don't want to come out, now you've argued or something stirred up prior to getting home. So now when you get home, there's tension in the air. Leave all of that at work. When you get in your car, get home, enjoy your spouse.
Well, okay, let me not completely take away from what you said, but Cody and I, we do something a little bit different.
Okay.
And the reason, and this is, we don't actually start with the, hey, how's your day? Because we text each other all day. And then occasionally, for instance, like today was one of the days that we actually did talk to one another. And we don't necessarily, we may say, a brief, hey, how was your day? Something like that. But for the most part, we leave all that until we get home. But in my case, the reason I like to maybe text or have Cody text me and say, hey, I'm leaving work, or hey, maybe stopping by the store, is one, because we like to communicate with each other, know what's going on. But also, I hate for anything to happen and I don't know what's actually going on. With the way this world is set up these days, I think the check-in is good.
Like
now, like you said, the conversation part of it, hey, today was this, that, and the third, and it's well, you weren't even listening to me, and then that what you're talking about there, I completely 110% agree with that. So usually when we get home, it's usually, hey babe, how was your day? How was that going? Those type of things, something like that.
I felt the tear. I mean, it almost jerked out for real, because that was real.
But I will say though, because I was not accustomed to that, that was a transitional period for me, right? Because I was used to being a single mom for some time,
right?
Coming in home, going straight to my daughter, asking about her day, seeing how she was doing, getting dinner prepared.
Yeah.
And then if I had the energy left, okay, Ty, how was your day?
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So I've had to
find that balance,
I really, really have. And the funny thing is, though, because he is very
go ahead and say it.
Intentional.
Oh,
I like that word.
That wasn't the word
Safe
I thought she.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't the word she wanted to use. There's the N word. There's the N word.
Here you go. That's what I'm talking about.
I've learned by us, knowing each other's love language, what he needs, right? And even if that doesn't necessarily speak to me, and it goes against my grain a lot, but because I love him, if that's what he needs, I've got to be intentional in communicating his language to him.
That's right. I just love it. The word intentional.
Intentional is
intentional.
Key.
And it connects the dot of their story.
The why.
We are partners. We're in this. We've committed to, this is it. You're it for me. I am it for you. I am going to do what I, I am.
It felt like you was talking to me.
I ain't talking to you.
Oh my gosh. I felt the moment, y'all. I'm sorry.
I just think, really and truly, which is why I always encourage couples, particularly even people that are thinking of getting married, to listen to the show.
Yes.
Because it's things like this that will prick a thought. And if they're transparent and want to be successful,
here it goes.
It's a shift that has to occur.
Immediate.
The other reason and the thing I love is the transparency to say, hey, we didn't always get it right.
That's right.
Here's what I had to learn.
The work.
And that encourages people to listen, right? Because sometimes you feel like, well, God, I can't get to that. But when you hear that, I wasn't always there, here's what I went through, here's what I learned, here's how we work together to get there, that's the piece that's so powerful to me. But you know what, we talk a lot about, Cody was talking about being convicted by the Holy Spirit that said, beep, 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 tap, 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 think about how you're communicating. So you're being open, you're listening, you are in your prayer time, you're paying attention. So it's so important, and it's in the first part of your bio, which says inspired by life and led by God.
Mm-hmm.
Having God in your relationship, I already know makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the question. When you interact with other people, be it male in your case, female in your case, or vice versa, that are relationally connected to someone, and they haven't gotten that yet, how do you bring that to light? I would think, if I were going to guess, you model it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you ever address it? For example, let me give you an example. And hopefully, I was talking to some people the other night about a show. I think you may even know them. And we were trying to work through some timelines. And they were talking about their spouse is connected, in church, very active, etc. Okay. And I misunderstood, and I said, some joke I said, crazy, like, your soul is going to be, you're going to be all right. And very distinctly they said, no, that's what the wife does. Okay. And so I was thinking about that when I wrote the question, because, when you have friends that don't necessarily see it that way, mm-hmm. How do you, or do you, try and have any influence over that? Because when I look at you, since the beginning day that I ever laid eyes on you, and even we talked a few times over the phone, the connection with God illuminates off of you. Okay. It's hard not to see that. Okay. So, do you deal with that, or do you just do you take that as a responsibility as life, marriage counselors, family counselors? Do you just model? How do you handle that when you have friends that may not necessarily see it the same way?
It's funny. Cody just looked at me like, so you got this side? Okay, well, I'll say this for starters. As you mentioned, we are, first of all, our household is led by God. He is our covering. He is the roof that covers everything that we do. But one of the things that we do as well is we try to surround ourselves with like-minded couples or like-minded people. Not saying that we don't have friends that are not of faith or, don't go to church and things like that. Because truth be told, again, we're not perfect. We don't go every Sunday either. But we do go, and thank God for internet church. We can actually watch it on TV. But we do try to surround ourselves with like-minded people for starters. And
which
then
is critical.
It is very critical. Yeah. As well as, right, we do try to lead by example. So, not necessarily we're going to beat you over the head with the Bible and you should be living your relationship this way and God said you should be doing it this way, that, and the third. No, that's not what we're about, because that's not our job. Our job is not to judge you or condemn you for how you live your life. Right. Our job is to be an inspiration, and we try to be an inspiration by the way we live our lives, by the things that we do, whether it be with Ty and Cody on Purpose, APLC, or anything else for that matter as well. Now, if there's a situation where someone says, hey, my husband, my boyfriend, or whatever, because, for instance, we were on a show in Hudson, New York, on a friend of mine has a radio show, and she said, I have found myself slipping from my religion, from my faith, from church. Right. However, I kind of want to get back into it because I know that's the foundation for which everything starts, for me, especially for me and my boyfriend. What do we do? So in that case, we jump in and we give our opinions. We give, some somewhere to start. I think Cody gave her somewhere to start at that time. Instead of just saying, I don't know, go talk to a pastor, right? I don't know. Don't look at us.
I think it's very important, regardless of who the person is, where they come from, because we all come from somewhere, right? All walks of life, that you reach people by loving them.
Yes, right where they are.
Exactly. There's no judgment zone because none of us is without fault.
That's right.
Right? So I think, like, Ty was saying, yes, we try to model as best as we can. But at the end of the day, I always in the back of my mind say, how would I want to be treated? Right?
Yep.
That's right.
I'm just going to love you and let God do the rest.
That's it. That's
Right?
it.
Leave that open door. If you need somebody to talk to, call me. Do that. I can share what I've gone through, what has helped me. But at the end of the day, I think it's love that draws people.
So, like I said, I've been preparing for this because I decided that I'm getting all that I'm going to get in this 1 hour.
That's right. Crunch it in there, Tanya.
I'm going to get some good stuff. So listen, if you were to bottle the secret to a successful relationship,
Ooh, she said the
and
best
it
for
could
last.
only have one ingredient, except love,
Okay.
what would that one ingredient be in that bottle?
Communication.
Yes.
She stole my answer. Communication. Communication is number one because we just did a show on communication because communication comes in so many forms. Even an argument is communication. So many things it can be considered communication. Communicate. Because oh my gosh, you can't over communicate. Communicate. Don't hold stuff in. Let it out. Talk about it. Or, whatever it is, love about it. Even if you love someone, love them while they're living. Love them, love them to life.
Yes.
If you have feelings where you're a little bitter and you're a little sour about something, let them know. Because if I don't let Cody know, how will she know? How will she know? Communicate. You got to communicate.
That's just powerful.
Communication is key.
So, here's my thing. If I was one of their friends and I was single,
Okay.
I'd be asking them to
Hook me up. Yeah.
So I just want to know, do people ask you guys to hook them up?
Yes. Yeah. Now, has it always worked? No.
Are friends like-minded, like friends? Like, do friends kind of have the same traits with relationships, or do you see your relationship different from your friends, the way they carry themselves? Not to call your friends out if they're listening, but I'm just giving you an example.
So my friend Moses, no. No. Again, we try to be around like-minded people, but again, we don't have a problem with being around somebody who is completely and absolutely different from us. So there are people in which we do hang around that are different in their relationships. I can't tell you that everybody I hang around with does positive things in their relationships. I can't tell you that everybody I hang around does, negative things in their relationships. So, it's just about being that influence.
And when we say being around like-minded, it's being around couples who are also trying to be intentional in their marriage.
Yeah.
Because you have some people who are just married to be married and think that the relationship is going to grow organically.
Right.
There's work.
Don't work that way.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I had to change the men I was around because it influenced how I went home.
Yes.
Because if I'm with a brother and he said, man, look over there, I'm like, I don't do that. Like, why would I? That's disrespectful to me.
Right.
So I would definitely say we have to be able to, channel ourselves around the people that we hang around, because it can go home with you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because when we first got married, we thought, man, we want to be around other couples, but we want to be very selective on who we're around for that particular reason. And we thought, okay, well, we're going to have to create an environment for that. So through APOC, we now have a couples meetup group.
Oh, wow.
And we meet every other month, either having a topic of discussion or a game night or something just to learn from each other. And we've got couples who are very young in their marriage to some who have been married, close
20
to
some odd, 30 years, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I just love it. I absolutely love it. I don't want to love it so much that I don't get to my next question.
Talk to me.
I know that you both work together on things, lots of business and projects and so on. How do you make that work? Because sometimes people that work together that are married, it doesn't work, right?
Right.
How do you keep this love and because I have to tell you, I follow you guys on all your social media, and you seem so authentic and sincere consistently about being intentional about your relationship. The probably most powerful thing I saw was maybe a few days ago. I think maybe when you did your show the last time, Cody might not have been as energetic, or she was battling through being very tired. And I saw that you wrote to her and talked about thank you. It's such a simple 2 words. Thank you for pressing forward. Now, those weren't your words. I'm sorry.
Right.
But thank you for pressing forward and doing the show. So does that sort of thing keep you balanced in your work life? You got the marriage, you got the kids, you work together on projects and businesses. What's the secret there?
We've learned how to separate work. I guess in the corporate world they call it a work-life balance. So we've learned how to separate Ty and Cody from mom and dad, from Tyron and Nicole, from the jobs that we have 9 to 5. And in order to do that, and we had to do that in order to keep our sanity, first of all, because we do work together a lot. We work together on APLC, Purposeful Life Coaching, Ty and Cody. We are mom and dad, and so on and so forth. So we try to keep a healthy balance. So that way we're not in each other's face constantly 24/7, because if you're in each other's face, you do kind of get tired of each other.
And I think one of the critical things we have grown to learn about each other is allowing the other execute their strong skill set. One of his greatest skill sets is social media. He's a tech guru, as I call him. I let him run with that.
Right.
I like to dabble in it, but I don't make the time for it, and it's just natural for him. So he runs with that. I'm more of an analytical numbers type of person.
Right.
So put me behind a closed door and give me nothing but numbers and finances, I'm all over it. So we've learned, that balance of what's your strong suit, you run with that, and I'll run with mine.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So I cannot let it go without asking, how do you keep it spicy?
I'm still learning that.
Being intentional. Now she's being honest. Now personally, I say there's nothing wrong with some of the spice that she gives. But I'm not gonna lie. I will say when we were dating, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be great because we're doing this, we're doing that, and she's doing this and she's doing that. And after a while of getting married and dealing with life, it's kind of like, babe, what happened? Like you got a rag on your head now coming to bed. Can we, do a little bit something different?
Rag and scarf.
Okay, call it what you want to. I call it a rag. You call it a scarf. That's because I got locks. Different story. So we have to be intentional with keeping spice. So we have date nights. We have to be intentional with doing date nights, which help with keeping the spice. We have to, let each other know that communication. If something is lacking, so that way we can step up in areas where we may feel like that we are lacking. We just have to continue to be intentional, be purposeful. In what we do, even in the spice.
Wow. The spice.
Yeah.
Spicy. Wow. I think you had a show about that.
Yeah, we had a sexpert on our on the show.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was healthy.
Yes, it was.
Very healthy. Sex is good. I mean,
yes,
healthy.
it is.
Yes. And it's good.
It's after 8 o'clock, Tanya.
Okay. It is good. But what I wanted to try to draw out with that final question is, with everything that they've got on their plate, they still keep each other as each other's priority.
Mhm.
God first.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Their priority and their kids.
That is exactly the order in our household.
Yeah, and nobody gets left behind. You know, we don't have enough time, but I'm telling you what, when Ty was planning her surprise 40th party,
I saw the
I
video.
was stalking Facebook.
Oh man.
Because I'm checking out, okay, the outfit is on the bed. She's
Yes.
gonna see that, and somebody's helped him pick it out.
But he documented the whole thing.
know
And
it.
did you see the
was-
video?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I was teared up.
I mean, it was
I'm-
crazy.
wow.
And I'm still in awe.
I mean, he pulled it off, and you knew
And I knew
nothing.
nothing.
Well, let me say this right quick, and this is a good thing to keep in mind for all couples. When you have each other's back, you have her best interest at heart and she has your best interest at heart. Like you said, neither one of you gets left behind. So because I knew what she wanted, I knew what would make her smile, I knew what would make her cry, I knew what would make her day, her year, her birthday, I knew what to do. And so, and vice versa, she knows what to do for me. So nothing for me gets left out or behind, and nothing for her gets left out or
I'm
behind.
telling you. Now, I'm getting ready to say something that's probably going to make me sound like an old head. But if you have a copy machine, we could put them on. Because we need to just copy these.
Duplicate it,
I'm
yes.
saying it needs to be replicated.
A purposeful life coaching. That's where you get it from.
I'm trying to.
It
look,
is.
Anybody that's listening that needs to really, really come to terms
Yes.
with how to
Relate.
make your relationships
right.
work. I'm telling you, I'm recommending, I'm putting my stamp of approval. I'm saying they're all over social media. Ty is actually T-Y and Cody is C-O-D-Y. And you have got to follow them on all of social media.
Come on, folks. Get on it.
Get on it. I'm giving everybody an assignment. Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Tune
Cody,
in.
do not miss it. I love these two, and just keep your eye on them. They are just precious. That's my word for them.
Thank you.
We love you
Thank
too.
for coming. I love you so much. And do you have any closing words? That cannot include coach. What did you call me? A cougar?
Yes.
An old head.
I'm not going to growl.
Could you say something nice?
Oh my God. I think one of the biggest
I want you to
things
be
is,
intentional and
Yes.
purposeful. We have learned that
I do.
tonight.
I want to leave you with some words of motivation that, you know what, love your spouse as much as you love yourself. Become one, become intimate, and become the best of the best. I miss the motivation. I approve that.
Wow.
I like that.
Well, the word says, love your wife as the Lord loved the church. And
Well.
I'm telling you, these two are loving each other. And you know what? Just in closing, look at the example of love and relationship that their children
Yes.
are seeing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Their daughters are seeing how a man should love a woman.
Wow.
And their sons are seeing how a woman should love a
Precious.
man.
That's precious.
I mean, that's a wrap.
Mm.
Too bad we gotta go. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for
Night
having
night,
us.
everybody.
Whew. That's how you bang a show out, WBA Nation.
That's what's up, Ty and Cody.
Really appreciated that one.
You really are. You really, really are. Thank you.
Y'all got this radio thing down pat for real. Like, I don't know
Don't
what to
try to
say.
be nice, man.
I
Trying to be nice. Are we gonna argue with an intention of resolution?